Good morning, everyone. In the last class, we are trying to discuss with the data types conversions here. So today we are going to see one important concept called arrays here. So inside this particular array, so we are going to check with the one dimensions array as well as two dimensions array examples here. And we need to understand, so what is the purpose of particular array is going to declare and benefit we are once we are clear this particular array section. So inside this particular array, basically we are going to store the same type variables information here, right? So it's nothing but we are going to store group of values here. So how we can store this particular group of values? So before going to start here, first we need to understand the syntax here. Getting the point. So inside this particular array, first we are to check with the one dimensions array, and to find out this particular one dimensions array, we need to find out the syntax first here. So array test here. So public static void main. So basically, whenever we are trying to define this particular normal data type here, how we are going to define here? So int abc something like, right? First we will define the data type, and after this we'll try to provide the particular variable name here. So same way, what we can do, we can go for this particular array. We need to define the first data type here. So what are the data type values we are going to store inside this particular array here? So I'm trying to store this particular int array and the name of this particular array variable. Getting the point. So month underscore days here. But now you can see I'm defining one open brace and a close brace here. Getting the point. If I'm not defining like this, we can call it as this is a simple variable here. But whenever I'm trying to declare like this, so this particular variable can hold multiple values here. Like where you are getting this particular records, like country class link here. So there you can check the recording sessions also. Okay, so back to here. Whenever I'm trying to define this particular open base and close base, there is nothing but which is going to hold multiple values here. So we'll see how exactly this particular variable can hold multiple values here. Right. Now after creating this particular variable, what I'm doing here, I'm trying to creating one new operator here. So this particular new operator we can define classes here, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to providing an object here. Right. So here we need to specify the size here. Whenever we are trying to work with any arrays related example, we need to provide the size here. So this is we are going to call as a size. So between this particular open brace and close brace, so if I'm going to provide any number which is going to work as a size of this particular array. So size of this particular array is nothing but this array is going to store multiple values. Up to how many values is going to hold? 12 values here. So 0 to 11 value. Getting the point. So this is the initial array is going to create whenever we are trying to defining the particular size here. Getting the point. So this exactly the size is going to create. The size is going to start from 0 and which is going to end with 11. So 1 is nothing but 12. Getting the point. So whatever the size we created here, the size internally it's going to create look like this. Right. So we need to understand here after creating this particular size here, how we can insert values. Because whenever we are creating this size, so this is this particular empty array is going to create. But we need to initialize some values here. So how we are going to initialize this particular values here. So to initialize this particular value, now what we can do, we need to add this particular variable here. So observe here, we'll add month underscore day, getting the point. We need to provide this particular open brace, and here I'm trying to provide in this particular index number here. So basically array is going to play very important role based on this particular index here. Now what I'm doing here, in the 0 index location, I'm trying to initializing the value something called 31. So previously what we defined here, int abc is equals to 31. Right. So this is we identified in the previous example. But now we can see what we are doing here. So we are creating one array variable here. So what is the array variable here? Month underscore days here. Right. So this particular month underscore days is multiple values. So to differentiate the each variable here, now what we need to do? So we need to store the value based on this particular index number here. So this 31 is going to store in the location called 0 location here. So same way, now I'm trying to do, so I'm trying to check with different location that is called 1, and inside this particular one I'm inserting the value called 28, and for the second location 30, and so I'm trying to give some random values here. Getting the point. So for here we'll check with something called 32. Inside this particular fifth year, we can go for this particular 39, and sixth location. In the sixth location, so what is the value I'm trying to slice? Something called 42. So now we need to check this particular variable, how exactly, so those are going to initialize here. So initially we're having 28, and again 31, 24, 32, so 39, and 42. Getting the point. So this is the way the values are going to store here. Like how we identified based on this particular, the same name of this particular variable, but only the difference here, the index number is changing here. If I'm going to use the same index one more time, what happens internally? The previous value is going to override with the current value here. Getting the point. So this is important here, how exactly the values are storing here. Now you can see the name of the variable is same, but it's going to hold multiple values here. It's going to hold multiple values here. The same type, all are having the same input type here. So this is the purpose of this particular arrays concept here. So we can hold multiple values with the same type here. And only the one thing we need to understand very carefully. So before initializing the value, before initializing this particular any value, we need to create this particular size of this particular array here. So this is important here. So without creating this particular size, we cannot initializing the value here. So once a size is created, we can go for this particular initialization section here. Getting the point. Now, if I'm going to close this particular section, what I will do, I will print this particular month underscore days here. System dot out dot println month underscore days here. Later, now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to close main method brace and class level brace here. Save with array test here. So go for this particular folder where this particular class is going to store. What happens? So inside this particular core Java command prompt and Java C array test.java. So it's compiled successfully array test. So now what you are understanding is we are not getting any information here. So just we are getting some different value here. Some different value we are getting here. So what exactly this value indicating here? So this is the basic reference of this particular object here. So basically we are creating one object here. So this is the int array object we are creating, and we are trying to check with this particular variable. Is nothing but we are printing the reference of this particular variable here. But now I want to print this particular values here. I want to print this particular values here. Now what we can do? So to print this particular values here, first we need to provide the same array reference here. We can go for the what is the index value we want to find out here, and I want to find out this particular fifth here. Observe here, if I'm going to compile one more time, so it's compiled successfully and execute. Now we can check here, so 39 here, 39 here. So whatever the value which is available inside this particular fifth location, the same value we are printing here. Getting the point? So this is indicating here with the reference of this particular index number, we can initialize the value. The same, the reference like index number with the reference with the index number, we are trying to load this particular the same value here. So whatever the value which is resides in the particular index location. So because of this, the arrays are going to play very important role based on this particular index here. Getting the point? So this section we are going to call as a one dimension array. This section we are going to call as a one dimension array. So anyone having any questions regarding this particular, the simple example on arrays concepts?
So when we try to print the object variable, it gave us a garbage value, right? So what does that denote actually?
Sorry, can you repeat? I did not understand.
Like when we try to simply print month underscore days without the index, like it gave us
Yes,
the object reference, right?
yes.
So what is that value? Is that actually a location value or something like that?
So basically, internally what happens here, like some predefined classes are going to provide this particular reference information. So with so whatever the value we identified right now, so this value.
Okay.
So this particular reference is going to change for the each every time whenever we are trying to create a new object here. So that like the compiler is going to identify here whether it is a newly created object or whether it is an existing object here. So based on this particular reference only, compiler can understand here object is created newly or existed one.
Okay.
Okay. So any other questions?
If we change the name of the data type, I mean like month underscore days, instead of that we can give some other name, then will the value change? Because it might be a new object.
Okay, you are trying to say something ABC, something called 7 is equals to some 35. Is this you are trying to explain?
No. So here we have int month underscore days, right? So
Yes.
instead of month underscore days, if I just only give days and if I print the days only, will the value changes because it might be a new object? Can we try that?
Okay. So instead of month underscore days, okay,
Days,
I
I
created days.
print days and just print
So
days.
it will print empty, right? Basically, so it does not have anything. Same thing, the reference we are going to find out.
The difference value will change or will it be same? That is my question.
So what is the different value here?
Reference value.
Okay, reference is different.
Okay, if we compile and run again, so it will change, right?
Okay, just wait.
Okay, so it would be same value.
Okay, let me check here. Yeah, it's same.
Okay. So
Basically,
I mean, is it auto saving or?
no, I'm saving.
Okay, fine. Thank you. That's
Let me try. Okay. So I- same reference, but only the difference here. Instead of providing the unique value, they are appending with the data type also.
okay.
Okay. So any other questions? Okay. So what I will do, like I'm instead of creating this particular object here, so we can check with a different way. So like how exactly the different way is going to look like, we need to understand here. So let's see the same example I'm going to create here. Array test2. And now here what I'm doing here, the same I want to take here. So month underscore same days. But here I'm not creating any object here. So see the curly braces I'm opening here and I'm trying to defining the value here. So 31 comma something 28 comma 31 comma 30 comma something 45 63 78 96 112. Right. Now you can see how many values we are creating here. So these are the values it's going to create internally one array, and these values are going to store based on the index numbers here. So if I'm going to print here some dot out dot print month underscore days 5, the same number I'm trying to print here. So say the difference between the previous example and the current example here. Array test2.java. 63. So we need to find out whether the 63 which is resides in the same index location or not. So now you can see the first one value is going to store in the 0 index location, first location, second location, and third, fourth, and fifth location. Getting the point. So only the advantage we are going to get here, whenever we are trying to defining this particular value like this here. So what happens internally? So based on this particular size here, internally, new array list is going to create here. So like how we created with the reference of this particular new operator, something called int. So this is the step we are not going to create, but internally compiler is going to create this particular step with the size here. So how many values we are having here? Based on that, so maybe it is a 6 or the 8 or something. Based on that, the array object is going to create. So this section again, it's going to point to the same variable here. The variable called month underscore days here. Right. Again, we can go for the same operation like what we are doing here. With the reference of this particular index location, we can load the particular object here. Getting the point. Only one advantage we are going to get, instead of creating the new object array, we can directly initialize the values here. So based on this particular initialization, so object is going to create internally. And so same way, we can check for the object reference here. So whether we are having the same or not. So it's creating same object reference. Right. So any questions regarding this example? Okay. Now what I will do, so now we identified this particular one dimensions array example. So we'll check with the two dimensions array example here. So how exactly this particular two dimensions array is going to work? So before going to check this particular two dimensions array, so we can go for with one more data type here. Now we identify the int data type here. The same example we are going to check with the double data type as well. Observe here, now what I'm trying to do, I'm defining this particular data type here and a variable here. So whatever the variable we are interested, we can check for the same variable name. So it is not a constant variable name. We can go for the any name here. So now what I am doing here, internally I'm trying to create this particular double data type value. So 10.1 comma 20.2 30.3 and 40.4. So something 60.6. So these are the values we are having. Only the difference here, based on this particular data type, sorry, actually audio is disconnected here. Okay, so back to here, what we are doing here, we are trying to create a one loop here. So with the help of this particular loop, what we are going to do, so we'll try to like do the final result of this particular all the values here is nothing but we are going to make the some additions here. Observe here. So we are creating one variable int I is equals to 0. But the second one, we need to check the condition here. So how many times this particular loop we need to repeat here? If I'm going to make here I less than, so what is the condition here? We need to make 4 or 5. What is the condition here?
7.
So now 7. So we are having only 6 here.
Oh,
So whenever we are having 6 here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Getting the point. So we can go for the 6 here. We can go for the 6 here. So that 0 to 5, this particular loop is going to repeat, and whenever the values is increased to 6, so it's come out of this particular loop here, and I plus plus. So this particular increment section we can discuss after this particular arrays example. We are going to move on to the operators here. Okay, back to here. Now I created one loop here. So with the help of this particular loop, now what I am doing here, I want to print out the final result of this particular double values. Now what I am doing here, so basically result is equals to result plus num of I. Getting the point. So what exactly this particular expression is going to return here? So this section is very important here. Observe here, initially this particular result we are having 0, right? And now we need to check this particular number here. So before going to check here, so initially what is the I value we are having? So the I value we are having 0 here. For now we need to check this particular array reference here. So this particular array reference will have so these many values here. So something, okay. Observe here, one second. So basically now what we are defining here, so these are the index numbers we are defining here, right? So this section is going to point this particular num here, this particular num, and here we can define the 0, 1, 2, something called 3, and 4, 5. Cutting the point. Now observe here, whatever the values we are having, all the values will store inside this particular array here. First we need to check the I value. I value currently 0. So whenever this particular I value is 0, now what we are doing here, we are checking with the reference here. So this is the number is a reference of this particular double array here, right? So inside this particular number array, what is the value which is resides in the 0 location? Because the I value currently we are having 0. I value currently we are having 0, right? So this particular value is going to reside here. So 10.1. Getting the point. Now what we are doing is we are trying to do some addition with the result, and again the value we are storing into this particular result here. So second time I value will become 1 here. Getting the point. I value will become 1. So previously we are having some value with this particular result. Again we are trying to do different value with based on this particular index number here. So what is the index number we are having currently? 1, because the I value is increased to 1 here. So now what we need to do, we need to check the first index location here. So what is the first index location value we are having? So the value we are going to load, again we are trying to open with the result here, right? So second time I value will become 2. Again, the reference is going to store this particular second index location to load this particular value. Same third index location. Getting the point? Up to, so fifth is going to load. Whenever the I value will become 6 here, now what happens internally? So it's going to coming out of this particular loop here. So finally, we need to print this particular result here. We need to print this particular result here. Getting the point? Now observe here, if I'm going to print, clear the console, let me clear first this. So Java C array test2.java. What happens here? Cannot find the num here. So what is the, okay, we made nums. Again compile. So this is the final value of all the variables, like all the values which are having inside this particular double array. Getting the point? So it's nothing but, so this is the max value of all these particular values here. So how I'm doing, this is important here. With the reference of this particular number array, we're trying to load with a dynamic value and with a dynamic index number here. So instead of making this particular static index is nothing but here, every time it's going to load the same index here. So what is the same index it's trying to load? 0. But we don't want to load the same index for every time here. So for this, now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to check with the I value. So this particular I is playing as a index number here. This particular I is playing as a index number here. So this important here, we need to understand here. So based on this particular index number, we are trying to check with the numbers array, and inside this particular number array, so what exactly the value is going to store, the same value we are trying to load here, right? So any questions regarding this particular loop with a double array? Okay, so back to here. Now what I'm going to do, so I want to check with the multi-dimensions array example here. So basically, this is the one dimensions array example we identified. Now we want to check with the multi-dimensions here. So how exactly we can create this particular multi-dimension? Let me go for the class. So 2D array. String args. Right. So now observe here, to work with this particular 2D array, now what we need to do? So we need to define the, so 2 array information here. Now I'm trying to initialize it, like I am trying to work with into data type here. But only the problem here, we need to check with the array information like this here. So previously we checked with one dimension array. Now we are checking with 2 dimensions array. Right. Now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to create with the object here. The same entire object I'm creating here. But only the difference here, we need to define this particular, so 2D arrays here. And here, we need to provide the size here. Getting the point? Because we discuss here, whenever we are trying to work with arrays here, we need to define the size here. So what is the size I am trying to create? The first one I'm trying to create with the 4, and the second one I'm trying to work with the 5 here. So what exactly the 4 and 5 is indicating here? Getting the point? Because we are trying to work with a 2 dimensions array. The first dimension array, we are initializing the size we are making as a 4. The second dimension array, we are making as a 5 size. Right. Now, so we created array. Now what we need to do? We need to initialize the values here. So before initializing the value, now what I want to do, I want to design this particular 2D array. How exactly this particular 2D array is going to create internally. So basically, the 2D array is going to look like this. Zero, 1, 2, 3. Now you can see, so this is indicating for this array. Getting the point? So 0, 1, and 2, 3 is nothing but whatever the size we created, the first array, the 4 size. So this is array we created. Getting the point? But now what I want to do, I want to check with the second array. So to check with the second array, what I am doing here, I am trying to defining one more array. So this particular array will have the size is 5. Getting the point? Now you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 0 to 4 is nothing but the size will become 5 here. Getting the point? So this is very important here. So how we are creating this particular 2D array here. So this is we are going to call as a row section, and this section we are going to call as a columns here. The first array is indicating rows, and the second array is indicating columns here. But now what we need to do here? So we created this particular array, but we want to initializing value inside this particular each boxes here. So how we can initialize this particular value? Basically, if it is the single nothing but one dimensions array, what we are doing here? So directly we are going to work with 2D, and we'll specify the index number, and we'll initialize the value here. We'll initialize the value. But we are now working with 2D dimensions array. So carefully observe here, whenever we are trying to work with this particular 2D dimensions array, so we need to check with different variables here. So a variable I'm trying to defining ijk. Getting the point? So all the values I'm going to initialize with 0. So I'm declaring these particular 3 variables. The 3 variables I'm trying to initializing with 0 value. And after this, what I'm doing here, I'm trying to create with a loop here. So carefully observe, we are going to work with different loops here. So just for understanding, I will explain. Like we can go for the more information on this particular nested loops in our upcoming classes here. So just focus here to insert the value into this particular 2D array, how we can work on this particular loops concepts here. I is equals to 0 and I less than. So I less than. So what is the condition we want to make? So here we want to make the condition row level condition. Basically, based on this particular row, we'll initialize the values into columns here. Based on this particular row, we'll initialize the columns here. So for this, now what I'm doing is, I'm trying to make the condition for the row level, and finally, I'm go for the I++. Right. And after this, so one more loop I'm creating here. So this loop I'm making as a Z. Getting the point? So observe here, Z less than. Here I'm making the condition for the second dimension. So the second dimension we are calling as a column here, and J++. So carefully observe, whenever we are trying to work with this particular So multiple arrays here, sorry, multiple for loops here. So we need to check the each and every loop, because the nested loop is going to repeat multiple times compared to the outer loop here. Right. Observe here, I'm trying to open one brace here. Internally, what I'm doing here, 2D, and here I'm checking with I, and the second one I'm checking with J, and here I'm trying to initializing with the K value here. Getting the point. So now I'm trying to increasing this particular K value. So this is very important here. So this section is going to play important role here. Observe here. So this is already identified here. This is the reference of this particular array. And what exactly this particular I is indicating. So the first one is indicating row level, and the second one is indicating column level, and the K we are providing a value here. So whatever the K value we are having, we are trying to initializing with the 2D dimension array. Getting the point. Now observe here. What I want to do with the help of this particular iteration, so we are going to initializing value. So initially I value 0, and the same way, so J value also 0, and same way, now what I want to do, I want to initialize with the K value. So all the values we are having 0. So let me check this particular outer loop. Now I am entering into this particular outer loop. So what exactly the I value? I value 0. The condition is going to satisfy. Now we are entering into the second loop here. So here we are checking with J. The J value also 0 here. So same way, this particular condition also it will return 0. Now you can see, so now this particular 2D is going to point to this particular array here. Getting the point. So this particular array is going to point to the 2D array. Okay, inside this particular 2D array, I is having 0 and J also having 0. So where exactly we need to point out? So now you can see I is indicating this particular row. So it's nothing but we are into the current row here. We are inside this particular current row. Getting the point. And same way J also pointing to 0 here. Is nothing but we are into the same particular column called 0 column. So now we are into this particular block of code here. What is the K value? The K value we are having 0. This particular 0 is going to initialize here. This particular 0 is going to initialize here. But carefully observe, we need to check the row level, the index, and same way we are checking the column level index here. So back to here, what we are doing here, we are incrementing the K value. The K value will become 1. And now we are iterating this particular nested loop here. So now J value also J value also is going to increase. Now the J value will become 1. So we need to check the condition 1 less than 5. The condition is going to satisfy. Whenever this particular condition is going to satisfy here, what happens internally? Again we'll enter into this particular block of code. So again we need to pointing to this particular array. What is the I value? I value 0. So still we are into the same level row. Is nothing but the first row we are into. Okay, what about this particular J? The J value you can see, the J value is now increased to 1. If the J value is increased to 1, we are into this particular block. We are into this particular block. So what is the K value? The K value we are having 1. The 1 is going to initialize here. Carefully observe here, still I value is not yet increased here. Okay, this line is completed. We are coming back to the below line. K value is increasing. Same way, J value also increase here. So even though the J value increase, again we are checking the same loop only. Still we are inside the nested loop. The J value will become 2. 2 less than 5. 2 less than 5. Still the condition is satisfying. So if the condition is satisfying here, I value will become 0. So I value will become 0 is nothing but still we are in the same row, and now we need to check the j. So j will become 2. So it's nothing but we are pointing to this particular block here, and k value will become 2. Right, the same 2 I'm trying to initialize in here. After this, the k value is increasing here 3. Same way, j value also increasing. How the j value is increasing here? Because of this particular code here. Because of this particular code, the j value is increasing here. Okay, now you can check the condition. 3 less than 5. The condition is satisfying here. So if the condition is satisfying here, we are initializing this particular 3 value. Same way, k value will become 4, and so j value will become 4. J value will become 4. Still, the 4 less than 5 condition will satisfy. The 4 value we are initializing here. After this, I value will become 5. Sorry, k value will become 5. Same way, j value also it's become 5. And whenever the j value will become 5, what happens internally? So this particular condition is going to return false here. This condition is returning false. Whenever this particular condition is returning false, now he is going to move on to the outer loop here. Careful observe. Now is moving into the outer loop here. So now the I value will become 1. I value will become 1. So whatever this particular j, again the j value will become 0 here. Why the j value will become 0? If we observe, if the condition is satisfying here, because the I value 1 less than 4. The 1 less than 4 is nothing but condition is satisfying. Once the condition is satisfying, it will enter into this particular j block. Whenever it is entered into this particular j, what we are doing is we are initializing with 0. So again we are trying to initializing with 0. So it's now the j value will become 0 here. So 0 to 5 will go on. Again it's coming back to the 0 location. So now we need to focus on the so important here. 0 less than 5, the condition is going to satisfy. I value will become 1. Whenever the I value will become 1, so it is pointing to the second row. It is pointing to the second row because so now the I value will become 1 here. Again the j value. J value is 0. J value 0 is nothing but we are trying to work with this particular column here. Getting the point. Now we are pointing to this particular block of code here. Okay, so what is the k value? The k value we are having 5. The 5 is going to store here. The 5 is going to store. After this, so k value will become 6 here, and j value will become 1. J value will become 1. So 1 less than 5, the condition will satisfy. So 6 value will come into the picture. Same way, k value will 7, and j value will become 2. 2 less than 5. Condition is satisfying. So 7 value will insert here. And after this, k value will become 8. So why the k values will become 8? Because of this particular line of code here. And the j value will become 3. Right. So condition is satisfying because 3 less than 5. So here we need to initialize the 8. Finally, it will become 9 here. So 8 will go on, 9 will enter into. So same thing, 4 will go on. And the 10 value we override because here we are going to get 5. So whenever the 5 less than 5 condition is false, again it will go to the outer loop. Now the I value will become 2. Whenever I value will become 2, so the j value will become 0. Getting the point. So this is the way the j value is going to repeat multiple times compared to the I value. Because the j is loop we made as a nested loop here. So the j loop is repeating multiple times compared to the I loop here. So now the values is going to store 10 and 11, something called 12, 13, 14. So 15, 16, 17, 18. Some values we are going to get. Getting the point. So this is the way the values are going to store internally the 2D dimension array. So this is also very important here. So basically, so whenever we are trying to attend any interview, they may ask this kind of questions here. So define the 2D or 3D dimensions array. So it is easy to define any number of arrays. Only the thing we need to understand this particular diagrammatic, and while creating this particular object, we need to focus more onto the like what exactly the array will contain and how we can define the size of this particular arrays. Getting the point. So 18, 17, 18, and 19. So these are the values are going to store. So any questions regarding this particular 2D dimensions array, the initialization section here. Just we are trying to initializing the value here, and we have one more block of code we need to define to load this particular value from this particular array. So any questions regarding this particular initialization section? Okay, so what I will do, I will create this particular screen, and I'm going to implement for this particular loading an object here. So loading an object also, we need a same block here. Same block is nothing but, and what I'm doing here, I'm trying to copy the same section here. Right. Observe here. So this particular block of code we identified. So to insert the values into the 2D array. And this section we are going to load an object here. This particular section we are trying to load from the 2D array. So how we are going to load here? Observe carefully the same conditions I am going to make here. I condition and j condition. Only the difference here. So instead of initializing the value, we are going to load the value. Instead of initializing, we'll simply load the values here. So system.out. Observe here, println I'm using here. So we are going to see the difference between print and println here. So how it will work here. And here we need to work with the array reference here. And here we need to define the I and j. Carrying the point. I'm not going to do anything here. So just I'm defining I and j. Right. So let me save this particular example. So 2D array, CLS Java C 2D array dot Java. Okay. Somewhere we did not close here. We did not close the braces properly. And clear the console. Compile one more time. It's compiled successfully. And I'm trying to run this particular 2D array. Observe here. So whatever the values we are having, so 0 to 19 here. 0 to 19 is printing here. But whatever the order we are expecting here, the same order we did not get here. Getting the point? Because we created one diagram here. So to insert the values. The same way we need to print the values here. So to print this particular same way, how we can define here. Getting the point? So now observe here the print format, how I'm going to write here. So this is also important here. So basically, instead of println here, I want to work with the print here. Now observe here, I'm making some space here. I'm making some space here. So we'll see how this particular values will print. Again, I'm trying to clear the console, compile the code, and execute the code. Getting the point. So with the help of this particular print method, we are trying to print the values in a single line here. Getting the point? But here we are not expecting the whole values into the single line here, because how we created the values here, with the help of this particular each row we print the 5 values here. We are having 4 rows. We are having the 4 rows, and each row we are having 5 values here. We need this particular format here. So 2, 3, and 4. Here we are having 1, second, and third, and fourth. So this is the way we need to print. Getting the point? So to print, this is the way. Now what we need to do. So instead of, we identified here, println is printing all the values in the next line. The print method is printing in a single line. But how many values we want to print in a single line? You can see, so 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's nothing but we need to print only 5 values. After printing the 5 values, we need to go for the next line here. We need to go for the next line. Right. So how exactly we can print here? How exactly we can print these particular values here? So if you observe, because now you can see every 5 times here, every 5 times this particular loop is going to return the false condition. Getting the point? So once it is returning the false condition, it's moving on to the outer loop or not. It's moving on to the outer loop here. So basically, whenever this particular condition is returning false, now what we can do, we can make here one more println here. We can make one more println here. Observe here now what we are doing here. So system.out.println here. I'm not defining anything inside this particular println method. So we need to understand carefully here. Observe here. So this loop is repeat until 5 times here. So once this particular loop is repeat 5 times, the values we are initializing here. So the values are we are storing into the array, or we are going to load the values. So whatever the values we are loading, we are printing with the help of this particular print method. So once this particular loop is returning false, so we are checking with this particular println method. So this particular println method, what it will do, it's moving into the next line. It's moving into the next line here. After this, we are going back to the outer loop. Again, it's going to check the condition. It's going to check the condition here. So observe, now I'm trying to save this particular example. So we'll go for the same block of code, compile the code, and print the code. Getting the point? So now you can see how this particular values are printing here. So basically, for each row, we are having 5 columns here, and we are having 4 rows here. We are having 4 rows here. So this is the way we need to print the values here. Getting the point? Sometimes the printing, print logic, it's going to give more. Getting the point? We need to understand very carefully. So how we can print the logic here with the help of this particular loops here. Okay. So any questions regarding this particular getting an object here? Getting in this particular values from the 2D array? Okay. So what we are going to do, we'll try to check with the one more array example here, so that we are going to understand more. So how exactly this particular arrays are going to work. Let me create one more example. And here, so what is the name we can define here? So 2D again. Observe here, inside this particular main method, now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to create multiple arrays here. So carefully observe here. Again, I'm taking the same array, something called, so 2D. I'm defining with the 2D dimension array. But now you can see here I'm trying to work with only first. For the first array, I'm giving the size. For the second array, I'm not giving any size here. For the second array, I'm not giving any size here. So observe this example, how it's going to work. And internally, now what I'm doing here, so with the help of this particular 2D array, one more array I'm creating here. So carefully observe, this is very important here. Now what I'm doing here, instead of initializing the value, I'm going to create one more array, and here I'm defining the size. This particular int will have only one value, and same way 4. This is the first location, second location, third location, because we are having only the first row having the size will become 4 only, so we cannot create more than 4. Here I want to work with the sizes will become 2. This I want to create with 3, and this one I want to create with 4. Observe here, internally one more array we are creating here. Getting the point? So outer we are having one array, and with the help of this particular outer array, so based on this particular index, again we are creating one more array here. Right. Now we'll observe here. So how exactly these values are going to work. I comma j comma k is equals to 0. All the three variables I'm trying to take with a 0 value. And now I want to check with the loop. So why I'm checking with the loop? Because we cannot initialize multiple values here without the loop here. Right. If we want to initialize it without the loop, so we need to define all the values with the index locations here. So how we identify it when we're trying to discuss with the month underscore days example here. Getting the point. With the help of this particular month underscore days example, so we need to initialize the same way. Something called 0 index location 1 and the second to third. Instead of defining like this, we can go for the loop. The loop is going to initializing value here. And now I is equals to 0. Later, what is the condition we want to make? So basically, we are having the row level 2D array. What is the row level 2D array condition? We can go for the same here. Now I am making 4 here. Because inside this particular 4 only, we are creating one more array here. Based on this particular, the 4 size only, we are creating one more array here. So that we can go for the same condition here. I less than 4 and I plus plus. After this, now what I am doing here. So this is important here. The second loop is very important here. And here I am making j is equals to 0. That is fine. But here I want to make this condition here. J less than condition. Here what is the condition we can make here? Getting this point. So previously we have the column level array. So we define the column level array. But now you can see, so we don't have the size here for the column level array. But one more here, if it is not available, what we are doing internally, every time you can observe, we are increasing the value. Every time the one value we are trying to increase here. So inside this particular int array, the size will become 1. So the second one 2, third one 3, and fourth one 4 here. So it's nothing but what we are doing here, we are trying to increasing one value. So that what we can do, so based on this particular I, so we can go for the one value. Based on this particular I, we can go for the one value here. Right. Now you can see j plus plus. So after this, what I'm doing is I'm trying to initializing the value. So this particular initialization is also important here. We are having 2D. Inside this particular 2D, I value I'm defining. Second one, J value defining. J value defining. So here is equals to K. And we can go for the K plus plus. We can go for the K plus plus here. But observe here, how exactly it's going to create here. How exactly it's going to create here. So basically, now we'll create this particular diagram first. So this is the simple diagram I want to create here. Basically, we are having 4 rows here. Right. We are having 4 rows here. Now what I'm doing here, with the help of this particular 4 rows I'm creating here. What about this particular columns here? What about this particular columns here? Inside this particular row only, we are creating the column here. So initially we are having 0. In the 0 index location, we are creating one more array. Getting the point. Inside this particular 0 index location, we are creating one more array. So that we are going to call as only one value we are going to store. Only one value we are going to store here. For this particular second, we are having second rows here. For this particular third here, we'll have first and second and third here. For this particular fourth, we are going to create like this here. So observe how I am creating here. Because these are the 0, 1, 2 and 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's become 4 here. This condition, this particular array is completed. But whenever we are trying to work with this particular column level, the column level, what we are doing here, we are trying to creating one more array. We are trying to creating one more array. So in the 0 index location, so this is indicating 0 index location, right? In the 0 index location for this particular column, we are creating one more array. The size also is only 1. If the size also only 1, we can initialize how many values? Only 1 values. For this particular first index location, we are having 2. So first index location is nothing but, so this is the first index location. Right, is nothing but first row, we are having 2 columns. And the columns are indicating here 0, 1. 0, 1. And we can make 3. And we can go for the 0, 1. 0, 1, 2, 3. Getting the point. So now you can see, so this is the 0 column and we can define 1. If we cannot define the 1 for the first one because we are not creating the size more than 1 here. We are creating only 1. So based on this particular size, I am creating this particular table here. So maybe if you are trying to think this particular table, so it's different look like, but once the value we initialize, so we can understand here how exactly this particular example is going to work here. Okay, so back to here, we created this particular table here. Now we want to initialize the value. To initialize the value, we already identified here. So I value will become 0, and so J value also 0, and we need to check with the K value. K value also 0. Okay, so back to here, this condition will satisfy. And what about this particular condition? J value 0. So I how much value we are having? The I value is 0. 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1. It will become 1. And the condition is satisfying here. Once the condition is satisfying here, now what I am doing here? I and J value. I and J value we are having 0. So here we are initializing the value 0 because So I0, J also 0. Getting the point? I0 and J0. Okay, K will become 1. And the same way, J also will become 1. So if the J also will become 1, what is the I value? I value 0. So 0 plus 1, 1. Right, J also 1. 1 less than 1. 1 less than 1. The condition will become false here. So once the condition will become false, so it's moving on to the outer loop here. Outer loop, whenever the outer loop is repeats, I value will become 1 and J value will become 0. So J value will become 0. Now we enter into this second condition, second loop here. So again we can check here. 0. 0 less than 2. 1 plus 1. It will become 2. Right. So condition is satisfying here. And so we are entering into the I value 1. So that now we are pointing to the this particular code. So now we are pointing to this particular code here. Observe carefully. So what is the K value? The K value we are having 1. We are trying to store into the I value 1, J value 0. Getting the point? I value 1, so J value 0. Right. Now the second loop is repeating here. J value will become 1. So 1 less than 2. 1 less than 2. The condition is going to satisfy here. So now the condition is satisfying and the 2 value we are going to initialize here because the K values increase here. So now you can see the K value increased here. Same way the J value also increased. So 2 less than 2. 2 less than 2. The condition is not satisfied here. So once the condition is not satisfied, it's moving on to the outer loop. So I value will become 2 and J value will become 0. And now you can observe. Now you can observe here J0 and I value 2. So this particular condition will become 3 because 2 plus 1, 3. So the J value is going to repeat until 3 times here. Okay. Now you can see I value will become 2. Now we are entering into this particular 2 section here. And what about this particular J? J initially having 0. So now initialize with the 3 and it will become 1 and K value will become 4. The K value I am going to initialize here and after this we are going to initialize with the 5. So this will become 1 completed and 2 completed. We enter into the 3. So 3 less than 3. The condition is not going to satisfy. So that it move on to the I block. So it's going to check with the 3. Now finally we are moving into this particular last row. So back to here, it will become 0. I value will become 6 here because up to 5 we already initialized. So we are initializing the 6, 7 and 8, 9. Getting the point. So this is the different one we are working here. This is the different one we are working here. So with the help of this particular row, we are creating dynamically the columns here. So we are creating this particular columns are dynamically here. So now we initialize the value. So how we can load this particular values here? Right. So let me clear this particular console. I want to copy the same here. I want to copy same here. So to print this particular value, what we can do? We can remove this particular 2 sections here. We can remove here. But now, how we can print this particular value? If I am going to define system.out.println, so we cannot work with the println. We can go for the print here. And here I want to define I comma and j. So I want to give some space here. so that we can easily understand here. Okay. Now what I can do after this, we can work with system.out.println here. Close all the braces here. Close all the braces here. So this is, so one more example we are trying to discuss here. So 2D again. So Java C 2D again dot Java. So it's compiled successfully. Java 2D again. Observe here. What happened here? So we are not getting here the format like what we expected here. Why it is not coming here? So all the values are printing in the same row here. So what is the condition we are missing here? Okay. So we need to think why it is not printing here. Maybe let me try this. So otherwise we can work on this particular brace here. So maybe the brace is not working properly. Java C2D again. Yes. So it is a brace problem here. The brace is not closed properly. So now you can see, so 0 is a first element and first, second, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So based on this particular row, the columns are increasing. The columns are increasing here. So with this particular 2D, we can have this particular simple example here. So anyone having any questions, this particular example, the current example called 2D again. No? Okay. So we don't have, now what I am going to do, I will try to check with the 3D dimension example. And this is our final example we are going to discuss for this particular array. So as of now, we discussed the 1-dimension example, so 2-dimension example, and finally we are moving into the 3D dimension example here. So these are the example, very important example we are discussing here. So 3D. So 3D array. Public static void main string args. Getting the point. So here to work with this particular 3D, how many we can define? We can define like this. And so here we need to define the size here. So what are the size I'm going to define here? So this is the 3, 4, and 5. So observe how this particular 3D arrays are going to work. If you understand this particular 3D diagram here, it's going to look like this. Okay, so instead of defining this, what I will do, so basically what I want to provide here, the output we are going to get like this here. So this is a one box, and each box we are going to have 4 rows here. Getting the point. And 5 columns here. 3, 4 and 5. So here I'm going to define one more here, because the first array is indicating so how many boxes we are trying to create here. Sorry. Okay. Second and third, fourth. First column, second, fourth and fifth. So this is the final one, because so the 3 indicating 0, 1, 2. Right. So this is the array here. And for each row, for this particular each box, we are having 4 rows and 5 columns here. Right. So we created this particular array. Now, so what is the main steps we need to perform here? The main step here to perform here, we need to initialize the values here. We already understand here rows and columns here. Let me define this particular loops here. So this particular loops are very important here. And the same I want to take here into I comma j comma k. I comma j comma k. These are the 3 variables I'm defining here. And after this, I'm going to check with the loops here. So I is equals to 0, I less than 3, because this is our outer loop. And I plus plus, I plus plus. So I'm going to work with the second loop. J is equals to 0 and j less than 4 and j plus plus. And one more I'm creating here, carrying the point. So this is the third one. K. K is equals to 0, k less than 5 and k plus plus. Right. So this the third one for this particular column. So this particular column is going to play multiple times. This particular column is going to repeat multiple times here. Okay. Observe here. Now what I'm doing here, with the help of this particular 3D, I'm defining I and j, and I'm defining k. So here we need to initialize the values. So what are the values I'm trying to initialize here? The values I'm trying to initialize here with the help of this particular I, j and k. With the multiplication values I'm initializing here. With the multiplication values I'm initializing here. Right. So otherwise, so we can take any value. We can declare any variable. So if we want to initialize with different values here, instead of taking this particular index values. Now,
Can
okay,
you
instead of
explain these tables again? What is IJK in it? You have made 3 tables.
see, I is pointing to this particular. So these values here, basically I value will point to 0, 1, 2, and j will point to this 0, 1, 2, 3. So same way here also the j will point 0, 1, 2, and 3. 0, 1, 2, and 3. And these are the columns here. The k is going to point to the columns here. So here you can understand here I value and j value and k value. Getting the point. Basically, so this particular array is going to provide the how many boxes we want to create with a reference of row and columns here. Getting the point. So the second one we already identified, so which is going to point to the rows, and the third one which is going to point to the columns here. But only the thing here, we need to check here the first one, how many boxes we want to create here with the rows and columns here. So we provided 3, so I created 3 here. So 0, 1, 2, it will become 3. Getting the point. Okay, observe here so that you are going to understand, like while initializing the value, you may get an understand. So let me create L also, and I want to initialize L is equals to 1, K plus L. So this is the value, so I want to provide here. Okay, basically after doing this particular addition, we are initializing the value. So this section is important here. Let me take here I value 0, and so J value also 0, and K value also 0, and L value. So L value we are making as a 1. Getting the pan. Now observe here. Now observe. So this important we need to understand here, because this condition will satisfy for the first time. So this also will satisfy for the first time, and this also will satisfy the first time, because all we are having zeros here. I, J and K, we are having zeros. So the directly we come back to here, the third one loop here. Now you can see I, J, K. I, J, K. So I value is 0 is nothing but the current block is pointing here, and J also 0 here. J also 0. Inside this particular current block, so J is pointing to the 0 here. Getting the point. And K also we are having 0. K also we are having 0. Right. Now what is the value we are trying to initialize? Getting the point. So the value will become 1. Getting the point. Value will become 1. So after this, the K value will become 1. Again, the loop is repeat here. The K block 1 less than 5. Condition will satisfy. If the condition is satisfying here, now what I am doing here? So I'm trying to initializing the value. So 1 plus 1, 2. Getting the point. The 2 I'm trying to initialize into the, so the K index location. The K index location is nothing but 1 index location. Getting the point. So now you can define 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. So getting the point. So this is very important here. After this, the K value will become 2. The K value will become 2. Once the K value will become 2, this particular condition will return 2, sir. 2 less than 5, condition satisfied. So 2 plus 1, it will become 3. Because here K plus L we are checking here. So K value we are having 2, the L value we are having 1. So it's nothing but 2 plus 1, it will become 3. And finally, the K is going to increase here. K value is going to increase 3. So 3 less than 5. Condition satisfied. So 3 plus 1. So the value will become 4. Now I'm checking with 4, because the loop is repeating. Getting the point. 4 less than 5. The condition is satisfying here. Once the condition is satisfying, the value we are initializing with 5 here. The value we are initializing. But now 5 less than 5. 5 less than 5. Condition is failing. Once the condition is failing, where it will go? So the next outer loop here. The next outer loop here, we are having J loop here. Now the J value will become 1 here. The J value will become 1 here. So whenever the J value will become 1, again the K value will become 0. The K value will become 0. So now you can see, because the 1 less than 4 is going to satisfy here. Once the condition is satisfying here, this particular condition, it will enter into the nested loop, that is called K. And now what we are doing here, again we are checking it. So 0 less than 5, its condition is satisfying. So 0 plus 1, the value will become 1. The value will become 1 here. And same way, K value is increased to up to 5. K value is going to increase to up to 5. So these are the same values we are going to initialize here. Getting the point? So these values will initialize. Now 5, the condition is false. It's going for the J block. J block will become 2 and 2 less than 4. It's going to satisfy. Again, the K value will become increased to 5. The values we are going to initialize with the same here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Getting the point? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The same value we are initializing here. And the J value will become 3. The J value will become 3. So 3 less than 4. Again, it's going to satisfy. So once it is satisfying here, we are coming back to the below loop, and we are initializing, like we are inserting the values here. Right now you can see the J value will become 4 here. J value will become 4. 4 less than 4, condition will not satisfy. Back to here, the outer loop here. So this is the outer loop here. Now the I value will become 1. Whenever this particular I value will become 1, what happens internally? From this particular block, we are entering into this particular block here. Because the 0 block is completed, because the I value will become 1 here. So once the I value will become 1, again the J values will become 0. J value will become 0. Why the J value will become 0? Because of this particular line. Because of this particular line, the J value will become 0 and K value is also 0. So same operations here. Getting the point? So first K loop is repeat, and later is going to check with the J loop, and later is going to check with the I loop here. Right. So finally the I value is going to increase here. It will back to this particular block of code. The last block here. Right. Any questions? The value inserting. Okay. So we'll check for the loading the value. So to loading the value, what are the conditions we need to understand? Only the condition we need to understand here. So let me copy. These are the values we are going to use same. We are going to use the same here, but instead of this particular initializing, what we need to do? We need to load the values. Getting the point? So carefully observe. I want to define all the braces here. So inside this particular block, system.out.print method. So we need to print to this particular line 3D ijk I comma j comma k. Getting the point? So what I'm going to do, I want to give some space here. So between each variable, like each value, I'm giving a space here. So this particular block completed. Now for the second row, what I'm going to do, I need a next line here. I need next line here. So I'm making here. For this particular third one also, I need a next line here. So why I need for this particular third one? Because we are having more iteration here. One more iteration we are having. So for one more iteration, so we want to make next line here. For one more iteration, we want to make next line here. So I want to save this particular 3D array. observe carefully, close here. So Java C, 3D array.java. Okay, we missed semicolon for this particular L. Compile one more time. It's compiled successfully, and I am executing this. Observe here. Now you can see, so this is the one block, second block, and third block. And now you can observe, so we are having 4 rows and 5 columns. 4 rows and 5 columns here. So basically, this is we are going to call as some matrix related example we are going to call here. Getting the point. So 3D matrix we can call it this example here. Getting the point. If I'm missing this, observe here, if I'm not adding this particular println statement here, what happens internally? Let me compile one more time and execute. Now what you are understanding here? Getting the point. So by seeing this particular output here, so we cannot understand here how many blocks we are having here. Getting the point. So this is important here. The output, how we are trying to defining, is also important here. Right. So same thing, if I'm removing this, what happens internally? All the values we are going to print in a single line. All the values we are going to print in a single line here. So this is all about the 3D matrix example we can call, we are going to call, otherwise we can call it as a 3D array. Any questions regarding this particular example? So basically, so these are the very important example we are discussing here. So try to practice this particular array related example, so to understand more here. So this particular array examples are going to play a very important role on the loops here, how the values we are initializing and how this particular loops are going to repeat multiple times based on this particular condition here. So this is going to give more clarity here. Okay, so if we don't have anything, we'll conclude the today class and we'll continue tomorrow with the operators here. So in Java, what are the operators we are having, and how each and every operators are going to use in Java language here. Okay, so if we don't have anything, we can conclude the today class.